Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan Nair, and here basically we are discussing about the topic that is basically the formula, and here it's a 192 number part, and in 192 number part basically we are discussing that um, which type of topic basically we have covered till now. Basically, that is basically till now we have covered subscription plans. Then basically we have covered World Bank. Then we have covered in front of world the USA's number one software company. Then we have covered that 100 people basically are in one city, and basically the in 100 people are getting the oxygen power supply, and that power supply is given by the nuclear power plant. Then basically we have saw that .NET basically how is created from the thousand cities. Then we basically saw that how subscription plan groups are working. Then basically we saw that how basically the disease, according to the disease, the data are sent. Then basically we saw that Bollywood groups have each and every videos with them. One example is Vadodara city, basically how it was created, how the blast was happened. Sorry, the lava blast was happened in the Vadodara city, and then basically the Vadodara city was created. Actually, we will say like this: when the lava blast was happened in the place basically currently where the Pavagadh mountain is, that place basically was from there place basically the Vadodara city creation started, and the Vadodara city generation. Sorry, the Vadodara city generation. Yeah, generation also we can say Vadodara city journey started, and how basically the few from lava sand basically how 3 to 4 human basically creation happened, and how from that human creation the Vadodara journey basically and generation started. So basically here basically we are going to see this all this thing. Basically we have so actually everything, and then basically how story gets activated. Story means how basically the Vadodara city, each and every story basically of the cities are getting generated. For example, Vadodara city is there, then Vadodara city, which type of people are staying. That basically we are so. Then basically we saw that how in USA basically American people are staying, how in USA the Indian NRI people basically are staying, and how their stories are basically getting generated. So each and every Indian basically staying across the world, how their stories are getting generated, and how especially in USA the Indian people are staying, how their stories are getting generated. So who is generating their story? That actually each and everything basically we have discussed. And here basically the main thing is Bollywood groups are telling that we have the videos of each and every cities. So we are basically creating the future plan of each and every people according to the video. So that also that basically is going to take lots of time. So for that basically we are doing each and every certain plans. For that basically we are just seeing that groups basically who are the owner of the blood groups, and according to that the blood groups owner we are deciding the entire city plans. For example, A blood group, there is one director and producer of the A blood group, and actors are there, villains are there of A blood group, like this B C D. Like there are 39 blood groups. According to the 39 blood groups we have divided each and every plans, each and every story is basically we have designed, and we just need to create one plan of the particular blood group person, basically that this is the blood group owner. We just need to do the plan to this particular person, nothing else basically we have to. Rest of thing basically the city, the rest of the thing basically the city, the nuclear power plant group basically is going to handle that. So then basically we saw that how the VC plus plus basically software was banned, and from how the VC software was banned in front of the public, and it is basically really it is not banned, and how basically Microsoft basically that is USA has done the plan of whatever things basically which is done by the VC plus plus group basically. So like that, basically the government's told that we basically know what the VC plus plus has done. But in government, basically there are few digital government basically. That's why basically I told every time I'm telling that VC plus plus is banned, but VC plus plus is banned. That basically few government people only know. So that government people are, do you know who? They are basically the digital world government. So digital police are also there. Digital, for that basically they have given name as a cyber police, cyber crime, cyber groups, cyber industry. They basically handles the each and every internet of the each and every users. So that's why basically I was always telling the VC plus plus is banned in front of the government, but it's not banned basically. It's ongoing. The VC plus plus process is ongoing. So that basically is handled by the digital government. So there is one government that is basically the digital government. That is basically totally different government. Why? Because the government is telling that we can't handle each and everything, right? So that's a digital world. Then basically you have to enter the digital world. You have to create your own government. You have to create. You have to create each your people. You have to create your digital police. You have to create your cyber rules. You have to create your internet rules. You have to create your own punishments of the cyber groups. You have to create. You have to create each and everything basically. That means whatever the world basically which without software which was created, exactly that you have to create in the software industry. So that was the basically stuff. So basically just imagine the things basically which is ongoing from the VC plus plus, from just one VC plus plus ban software, the entire software government basically got created. So you can just imagine. So basically this nobody for example, one person is getting punishment in IT industry that he will not be going to get a job, and he will basically might be trying to find out that why he is not getting job, who are those people who are basically doing this all this stuff basically. Then basically one day he might be trying to find out who is that group by default basically, right? That's a human tendency basically. That's a human basically, you can say human behavior, right? That he is going to find one day that who is that person basically who is not allowing one person. I will take one example of myself. Who assume that I am searching job and I am not getting the job. So I will be trying to find out that who is that group basically, who is that people who is actually not allowing Sunil Arnaya to get the job. So by default he is going to try. That is by default. That is basically human tendency because I am also human. I am not human clone generation, right? I am not a human clone generation. So I am the basically also human. So basically by default I am also going to find the what actually the wrong happened, and what is actually the wrong happening, that I am not getting the good salary job. Then basically there might be some reason basically who might be creating some problem. Then one person told that it might be some reason basically. That's why basically the VCs, the actually when he tried to debug the thing, then basically connected to digital world basically. Because you, I will take one example. If you are doing fasting of the Hanuman god, right? If just take it as an example, you had done the fasting of 30 Hanuman god of the 33 years, and by chance you are getting the punishment that you have done this wrong. Then basically by default, that is basically Hanuman God, Sri Hanumanji God, people only, because they only have the rights to give punishment, because you are doing the fasting of Hanuman God. So they only have the permission to give the punishment, and they only have the permission to give you the bless, because you had done the 33 years fasting of the Hanuman God, Sri Hanumanji God. So it's like that. So if you are not getting the job in software industry, that means your software people are only creating the problem. There is no other government basically. There is no people basically other than software industry are creating problem to you. That is your people only. Then basically then Sunil Arnay told that basically which how basically the government of the software industry might have started. For that, basically he basically connected with one of the Bollywood person. He basically discussed with the one of the Bollywood person, and Bollywood person told that basically, do you remember there is one software, VC plus plus? Then Sunil Arnaya told that no, that is banned long before, basically in 1998 only. No, that is not banned actually. What? Yeah, that is ongoing, because we are doing the advertising, we are creating the cities, we are doing the advertising of the each and every cities, that this city is basically getting created by the VC plus plus energy, and it's going to generate this all energies that is going to affect this all thing basically in your brain. Oh, then basically Sunil Arnay told, yeah, are you sure basically? Yeah, basically the Bollywood person told that, yeah, VC plus plus is ongoing. And the main thing is VC plus plus is ongoing, that basically nobody can able to track that the VC plus plus is ongoing to secure their basically because there are lots of negative task is also ongoing by the VC plus plus group, that is basically the Microsoft group. So there might be some negative task also might be going, right? So to secure and the big Microsoft company, to secure big Microsoft company, PHP basically got created by the Microsoft Energy. Sorry, the Microsoft project. Sorry, the VC plus plus actually. It's because it's a Microsoft project, right? By default, it's a Microsoft project. So few VC plus plus good developers basically thought that we have to secure our life also, na? Because in future it might possible that anybody try to find out why basically you are this person is Sunila Nice is not getting job. So he might be trying to find out basically why he is not getting job. So he might reach to you also, VC plus plus group also. Yeah, basically it might possible. So for that, basically one of the business analyst of Microsoft industry, basically who are into the totally into business industry, he know the market of entire Microsoft, and they only generate the Microsoft business, and they only basically down the Microsoft business. So he told that we can do one thing, we can create one software from VC plus plus, that is basically we can give that name as a PHP. Okay. Then basically they told that, yeah, basically we can create, but for that, before that, it should become viral. Viral means very big level. Before that, we have to create one small DLL only, and we have to create few pages. Sorry, we have to just create one DLL, and we have to tell them that, tell the developers that PHP developer, we have to do famous, we have to do the advertising, we have to do the advertising in the training industry that PHP software is basically ongoing. Then basically we have to create advertising of the PHP. Then we have to do advertising to the old people also. See, basically the PHP has launched. Then basically we have to track that which people are trying to decode the DLL, because like, there are lots of people basically who knows that from software the energies are basically getting generated, and that energy can damage your body parts also. That energy can damage your body parts also. So basically to uh, nobody can able to track that person, that's why basically the PHP got created. Then PHP person basically thought that if I think VC plus plus are using us, so the PHP developers basically, PHP developer basically might have tracked that VC plus plus there is one DLL. Basically the PHP group don't know, right? PHP group don't know that the VC plus plus has created this all deal. Basically, the VC plus plus, sorry, the PHP group told that we got few DLLs, and the DLL basically was created by few developers, and they basically are on not they are basically working online, and they basically we have never seen them. They basically has created the PHP DLL, and the PHP DLL basically contains few set of lines of code. So he connected two lines of code. So that then basically one person told that if you write one line of code that is connecting to the 1 or 2 kilometers area, then just see basically how the things are basically working. So he told that if you are writing one of line of basically nobody is going to understand that what is actually this one line. For example, I will take one example. If you want to declare any variable in C++ or C, then basically we have to give var and the variable name, or int and the variable name. And if you want to initialize, then you can initialize. That actually what it's doing in the real world. It might possible that it might be connecting to the certain kilometers area, because whenever you are initializing the variable, that is by default connecting to the physical place. So assume that you created few variables, and then you assigned the variables, and then basically you created few functions. In that function, basically you have written few lines of the coding. In this line, basically there was one line of code basically that was actually connecting to the DLL, and that was a hidden code, and that basically the PHP group was not able to track. But by when the PHP become very viral, that time basically one of the person basically debugged that each and every PHP line code. Then basically he tracked that one line that basically does not have any source. That time basically he told that basically this basically does not have any source, and that basically is connecting to PHP DLL, and the PHP DLL is connecting to the VC processor. This basically was not tracked. Like this, the thing was basically happened. So then basically they thought that it might possible that in future PHP also might get in problem. So basically they created WordPress to secure PHP. PHP basically created WordPress, and basically nobody can decode the WordPress because the PHP developer basically they don't do the coding. They don't do the single line coding also. It's a basically totally interface level coding basically. For example, if you want to write one database level coding, then basically there are set of forms basically. We have to just drag and drop and give the set of fields, and that connect that basically sends the data to MySQL automatically. So basically there is no line of coding basically written in this WordPress basically. Then basically he told that yeah, basically it's correct. It's very difficult to debug. Then basically they created a framework of the PHP. Framework of the PHP around the 39 framework basically they created. So 39 framework basically they created, right? So 39 framework basically they created, and from 39 framework basically they were using the few good PHP developer basically created the PHP 39 framework, and they basically told that you are going to get royalty of the amount which you are creating. Then basically they told that okay, then basically we are ready basically, but they never thought that this code basically that framework basically might used in the negative part also, that is basically to damage any person's body and any person's body. So like this basically they told that yeah, basically we can do the damaging part. Sorry, we can basically have the basically the framework also. So like this the PHP framework basically what created. So basically VC++ basically now it's very far basically. First, if anybody tracks, then basically it would be framework. If he goes little bit deep, then basically it will be PHP. So like in this basically two level basically it's going to take some time, right? It's going to take some time, right? Within this time basically the VC++ group, that is basically the Microsoft group, that they will be basically 100% going to track that this person is basically trying to track VC++. And basically Microsoft basically people will be 100% might be knowing that yeah, basically this person is tracking us, because VC++ is banned, right? VC++ is banned in front of the public, that is basically the non-government, sorry, the in front of the government also, because the VC++ is telling that we are the government, we are the creating the, we have created the software government, we have created the software crime, we have created the software cyber industry, we have created the software cyber in rules and regulation, we have created the cyber world. So that rules and regulation, each and every basically court are there, high courts are there. So like this basically the entire government basically there, basically the leaders are there. Who will be the leader of the Bangalore? who will be the leader of the Vadodara city, who will be the leader of the Delhi. So this basically everything is ongoing because that's basically at the upper level. Basically, nobody basically can able to track this, right? Because for example, in Bangalore city, one person basically went to Bangalore city and basically he tried the job for 6 months, but he was not able to get the job basically. So he might be trying to find out basically why he has not got the job. So he might so like this basically, like that person basically, there might be many people that they are trying to get the job and they are not getting the job, right? So like this people basically nowadays think negativity because it might possible that the person basically who might be searching the job, he might be some connected with some certain groups. So that type also thing also possible. So up to that level basically the this software government basically has created. So basically, and nobody can track that the cyber world is there, software government is there, nobody can able to track. So this basically started how? Basically this started from VC plus plus ban. The VC plus plus is banned in front of the world, in front of the public also. Basically, anybody who's doing the .NET coding, basically he don't know that in .NET basically there are few object controls that are basically by default created in VC plus plus. Nobody can able to track. Why? Because if you decode the .NET code, that is basically the thousand cities which is created from the .NET, you can't reach to the VC++. Why? Because there are a few DLLs basically which are getting used in the .NET, and .NET basically is created from the thousand cities, but that thousand cities are accessing lots of VC++ code basically. So you can just able to imagine basically the software government basically. So it's very difficult to track also basically, right? That the software government is there, software industry is there, software peoples are there. So it's very difficult to track, right? So nobody can track this. That VC++ is banned. VC++ is banned. Nobody can track this, right? It's very difficult to track that VC++ is banned. Can anybody can track this? No, it's not possible. So this basically we have saw that, right? Then basically we have saw that there is one lady that is basically Accenture software company basically. That Accenture software company lady came to India, and then basically that lady told that basically she basically know that here basically in each and every room this type of ideas are dumped. So she basically thought went to first room, second room. This is basically I'm talking about the user story of the Accenture room. Sorry, the Accenture software company of Bangalore. So basically that lady went to first room, then that lady went to second room, then that lady went to third room, then that lady went to fourth room. Then basically the person basically who was guiding that lady, she told that actually I was thinking something and then basically I forget the thinking what actually I was thinking. Then basically that guy basically told that in which room basically he was thinking. Then basically from which room basically you thought that you started that thought. Then basically that lady told that that was basically I think in second room, sorry, in third room or whatever, basically assume that it's in second room. So that person basically find out had the list of the all the ideas which was dumped in that second room. That was basically air condition and the power companies who basically sets the ideas, and the ideas are nowadays will become the very dangerous thing. That also basically we have already discussed that if you think up to this level or you are thinking this, then basically you are going to generate that. That basically we have already discussed, right? If you are thinking this type of ideas, then basically the Microsoft potato is going to generate. If you are thinking that, then basically the Salesforce potato is going to generate in your body. So that basically we have already discussed. That basically connects to the demand and supply of the potato. That is basically the Microsoft potato and Salesforce potato. Then basically we have already discussed the thing basically, and then basically we have discussed this whole thing basically we have discussed in the last videos basically. Here basically we will not repeat this. We are not going to repeat that thing basically we have already discussed, and then basically we are going to see that uh, how the software government, so basically how the software government is running, that also we will have one video that how the software government started from the VC++ ban. So basically, if anybody tries to track that why the person is not going to get the job, then basically he will go to the police station, he will go to the high courts, then basically they can't track, right? He can't, they basically will say sorry, we don't have any idea basically why you are not getting them. Then he will go to the naukri.com, monster.com. They also basically, they the top level executive basically know that there is one software government basically, but nobody don't know that software government like is there. So basically he's going to just keep going to get the punishment, and then basically at last basically he will get tired basically, and then he will stop trying to find out basically who actually is basically behind this basically why the job is not getting. Like that basically the government might have thought. So like this the software government basically says that nobody can track us, and we can easily do our stuff. So like this basically the VC++ is doing their stuff. So like this basically VC++ has done lots of stuff basically. So here basically we are not discussing that we have, but we will discuss one video basically that is basically connected with the software government, how basically the software government was created. So now basically we are going to see the remember basically place basically that basically we have discussed how the lady basically was told that this I was thinking, and basically he find the that part Accenture person basically find the um, idea basically that in this room basically the CRM ideas are dumped. Then basically he told to that lady, was yeah, you are thinking about the CRM project. Yeah, then basically that lady told her, yeah, basically I was thinking that only. So the that person basically the Bangalore person who was basically of the Accenture, he don't know that that lady actually want to debug little bit more thing. So he thought that basically that lady don't know anything. Then basically the lady told that can we have the list of the ideas basically in the Accenture. First she basically tracked the whether the Accenture India is basically having this all information or not. She told that she tracked the director of the Accenture and the CEO of the Accenture and the vice president of the Accenture that give me the list of the ideas which basically the Accenture software company is having. First basically she have to think their own company, right, whether they knows or not this all the thing. Then basically she basically have to go outside the Bangalore. Otherwise basically she will get shame basically if the Accenture India is not having this all information. Then she will say that oh, what I had done, why basically we invested in the India. Then basically she will tell this also one day she will tell this also why basically we invested money in India. If the India basically people, if the Indian Accenture CEO basically don't know that in this room basically which ideas are dumped, then basically why the waste, why we have to waste the money in India, why don't we shift our software company to China. Like this basically she might tell one day. So that's why basically the up to this level basically the things can reach. That's why basically all the CEOs and director basically become very serious, and they basically try to find the things basically ideas information. Then basically they thought that they told that basically it's very critical information, so we don't keep this information. That's why basically our software union person basically, there is one person basically, that is person name is Raju, and he basically have the information of the ideas. So basically, that Raju person basically was connected with that lady, and that lady basically told that basically, I want the list of all the ideas basically which are dumped by the government and dumped by the dumped by the government. Basically, the air condition companies are also basically directly connected with the government only, because government only have the rights to give the set of ideas to the human body's brain. So like this, basically the Raju basically was the union leader of the Bangalore city, and then Raju told that basically, yeah, I have the list of ideas, I will be going to give to you, and that lady basically got the list of idea, and she verified that. Yeah, basically most of ideas are there basically, but few ideas are missing. Then basically she connected with that Raju, and she told that why basically these ideas are missing. Then basically she told that Raju told that basically the human body basically of the Bangalore city can take this much only energy only in their body. If they are taking too much, then basically there are lots of things are basically getting created in their body. Then basically she told that we got the information about the human of the Bangalore body structure, that this type of body structure are in Bangalore, and that is given by the government, your government only. Yeah, basically that's you are correct basically, but the few things sometime basically the corona has came, then after that basically the lots of things basically has changed. Lots of things basically has changed. That's why basically the things basically has changed. So the people can't take too much of energy, too much of Microsoft energy, too much of Salesforce energy, and basically they can't do that much production basically from their human body. So that basically was told by that particular person. That's why basically we are not sending the set of, we have minus few ideas from the Accenture basically data also. Then basically she told that basically the potato production is of basically very less, and it's getting producing very less, and the demand is too much. So that due to that only basically that lady basically came to India to debug the thing basically why the India Microsoft, sorry, the why the India Accenture potato energy is getting less, why the India Salesforce potato is energy is producing less. That's why basically she came to India. Then basically she told that if India can't take this much of energy, then basically we have to take some other action basically to give the production basically of the potato, because it's a overall big world level potato production basically, that basically 20% of production basically has become less from the due to India country, because India is having the largest population in the world after the China also basically. So India has become number one population. That's why basically we are giving the work to the India, that you do the production basically. And how basically the production are done, that basically we have already told, discussed, that the nuclear power company basically are creating the project, and creating the project in that way basically you are going to think this only, then basically you are going to generate this Microsoft potato and Salesforce potato only from your body. So that type of project are also created by the nuclear power plant. So just to see basically the uh, world has reached basically, not world basically, the entire creation has till now basically, the thing basically I am discussing, that is the entire software industry created till now. So that thing and that basically by default it's if world will say that yeah basically it's a software industry, but everybody says that it's India basically, sorry, the it's a USA. Everybody will tell that basically it's a USA, everything is everything, each and everything basically in USA is doing. Then whole world is basically directly going to blame the USA only. If anybody anything big happens to the software industry, then basically USA will be responsible. That is basically in front of the world, it's disclosed like that. That's why basically the USA is the most secure country in the world, because it has to kept as a secure, right? Because if that get USA gets problem in future, then basically by default that thousand cities which are created, that also basically in by default going to create into the problem. So that's why basically the each and everything has kept like that. The nobody can reach up to that person and up to that city basically where the main city is created of the Earth planet, where the person is basically staying. So basically, it might be some big person, right? He might be some big person. He might have secured his life like that. That if anybody reached to USA, then basically it's a USA is the most secure country. If anybody try to reach to USA, then he assume that he reached it up to USA. Then basically he might be reaching to the thousand city also. So if he will reach up to thousand cities, then basically he can that person basically who has kept secure himself, then he can basically easily able to track that person basically, yeah basically he's trying to reach to me, because each and everything basically which was damaged, that's happened from his property, right? Nobody is accessing his property. Nobody is accessing his property. Nobody is accessing his property. So like this basically we are discussing here that how the ideas are basically working in this world. So now the topic basically, the original topic basically which we were discussing, that is this Bollywood industry is connected with directly with the software industry. That actually is the main point which we are discussing actually. And this whole thing basically which we have discussed, that is 100% going to connect to that 100 of balance sheets which is basically created by groups. Pune groups are basically creating the balance sheet. But then basically anybody, one person told that basically we are not creating, we are just getting the balance sheets created by the USA. Then the one person, basically the person basically who was actually handling the World Economic Forum, he told that basically he then basically connected to the USA. Then USA told that we are not creating the balance sheet, we are just collecting the balance sheet from the hundreds of cities. Then basically you have to go visit the each and every 100 cities basically. So like this basically time will get passed. So like this basically it's very difficult to track each and everything. Basically the creation is like that, basically the created by the world creator basically, because you can't track the person who actually the created the things, because the world is secured like that way. So now basically we are discussing that it's a Bollywood group basically. The Bollywood group says that we will start from the scratch. For example, there is one city which basically is going to create, and the production and the producer of that city is basically three businessmen. Three businessmen, they invested around 8 lakh, that is basically 24 lakh crore rupees to create that city. So that budget basically the that is in front of the Bollywood group, because Bollywood group have to create the stories. They know that they have, the businessman is has invested 24 lakh crore rupees to create the city. To create the city, the Bollywood person know that it has taken 24 lakh crore rupees to create one city, right? So this basically we are going to discuss later on, and this is basically 192 number part. In 193 basically we are going to discuss how basically the 24 lakh crore rupees amount is getting calculated by the Bollywood group, and how basically they are creating one city and how they are generating the user stories.